Hey guys, so it is like 1:30 in the morning. I've never really done one of these videos before where I'm completely speaking just, not scripted, not edited, not anything like that, but this is just a retrospective of 2020 for Giant Grant Games and what I'm thinking is going to be going on in the future and all that kind of stuff. Uh, let's see. So I know I'm kind of pretending that this is off the cuff, but I actually do have notes and I'm going to be referring to them because I don't want to miss anything. I'm a little bit tired. It's okay. I'll do my best. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, and if you're not interested in this video, that's fine. That's why it's on my second channel. I just figure some of you might be, and saying some of the things that I want to say right here I think is good for A, transparency's sake, B, I am the type of person that thinks better when they're just kind of talking out loud. You know what I mean? You say something, then you listen to it, and then your brain goes, oh, that's not that bad. Or, oh, you're an idiot. Why'd you think of that, you dumbass? So, I'm doing that. Which is, this is why I'm in the middle of the screen. So, we have background here. It's not going to change. There's no reason to watch this as a video. You can, minimize this, put, I don't know, your favorite booby streamer on. I opened up Twitch earlier and the first premiere person was someone that was not playing video games at all. It was shocking to me. And they had a lot of cleavage, and it was not the Twitch that I knew. Oh wait, it's been that way for a while now. So yeah, I guess this is just me going over 2020. I've already wasted 2 minutes. Perfect. Let's get into this. 2020 was a weird year for me. Also, by the way, I'm not editing this, so if I say something wrong, whoops. It was a weird year for me. I started streaming in November of 2019, and I had basically no audience. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then in December, after I had streamed for about a month, almost exactly, the pump on my CPU cooler exploded. And the water damage destroyed my motherboard and graphics cards, so I just didn't have a computer for a while. Meaning that streaming wasn't possible. I ended up deciding to splurge on a good machine, and ended up getting it in January, building it all together, and I started streaming again on January 18th. These numbers don't really matter that much. I'm just giving it for perspective of when things happened, because I know for a fact everyone here that's watching this, besides maybe 1 or 2 people, was not there. So pretty quickly when I started streaming, I decided to do a 100 consecutive day stream challenge. I figured that being a consistent and reliable streamer might be a way to help me grow and become bigger. And, I wasn't sure what I was doing at that time. So, just throw something at the wall and see what sticks. So I was looking at my numbers just about an hour ago, and in January I averaged 4.0 viewers. And in April, when I finished the challenge, I averaged 3.4 viewers. Keep in mind that back then I wasn't using a multi-monitor setup for my chat. Instead, I had a laptop open because I wanted the extra view. So in reality, it was 3 and 2.4 viewers on average for these multiple months. So I kind of thought that I just wasn't cut out for streaming. Discoverability on Twitch is really hard. And I'm sure that you've heard that before. I say it all the time because I believe it's true. Twitch is really, really bad at helping you discover new content creators. And they've put forth effort recently to try to make it better. But I'm not sure that it works great. I knew that though. I knew that going in. So that's why I always had a YouTube channel that was going on with my Twitch, and I bet you found me from my YouTube channel most likely if you're here. Because most people did. So how was YouTube going at that point when I was averaging 2.4 viewers after doing 100 consecutive days of streaming? Well, it was going really, really bad. Initially, I had started out the YouTube channel with some professional StarCraft shoutcasting. I enjoy professional StarCraft and I think it's fun to commentate. 95% sure that it'd just never take off or do anything. I knew for a fact that the current StarCraft 2 commentary market was pretty stagnant. Not in a bad way, but there's a lot of talented people that are up at the top. And if you're a tournament organizer, you're gonna hire those really talented people because they've also been there for 10 years. Trying new people, risking them, that sort of thing, it's just not really what's in the books right now for StarCraft. It just has to do with the size of the title and the length of the time that it's been out, right? Watching Creighton Olsen and the other Grant try to bust into the shoutcasting scene this year and be unable to was actually really devastating to me because they threw in so many hours. It sucked, but it definitely was not the right path for me either, and I figured that out pretty quickly. In May, while I was doing the 100-day streams, I had started doing some weird challenge run stuff, so it's kind of hard to fill 100 days worth of content, especially when you don't really have viewers, you don't know what you're doing. So I ended up, I think it was Rhyme's idea originally, to do the Deathless run. We were talking on whether In Utter Darkness was possible to do without losing unit before the time is up. And then that extended to playing through all the Wings of Liberty, then all the campaigns without losing unit. I thought they were a lot of fun. And it worked out really good. And then one night after I had streamed, it just kind of hit me. I had this idea of a video in my head. And I was like, I don't know how to make a video. So then I started downloading free video making software, and I just decided I was going to do it. And it was like I mean, you know the video, right? It's pretty not well edited. It's pretty highly edited. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in there. I'd never edited a video in my life before. I didn't know what I was doing. So it took a lot of work. And I believe I totaled it up at one point. It took about 50 hours to make that first video, Wings of Liberty without losing unit. And for a while, my schedule looked like this. Because remember, during all this, I was also working because I was indie game dev, making the never released turn-based strategy game Ascendancy that still does not have art, but it is a fully functioning turn-based strategy game without a campaign and without art. And I should probably make that eventually and sell it. Because damn, I put a lot of work into that. But man, I have so much on my plate. So these are what my days would look like. I'd wake up at 8 to 9 a.m. I would work on Ascendancy until about 4 p.m. I'd have dinner at 4. Then I would start streaming at 4:30. I'd stream from 4:30 till 7:30. Then I'd eat dinner at 8. And then I would work on the video until around midnight or 1 in the morning, fall asleep, rinse and repeat for about 2 weeks straight. That was a lot of work. That was some of the hardest work I'd ever done. And then I finished the video, and I was damn proud of it. Like really, really proud. Looking back on it, the audio quality was obviously pretty bad. But besides that, I actually think it's a fairly technically competent video for someone making their first video ever. You know, a lot of the times when you're kind of okay at something, you look back at the beginning and you're like, wow, I sucked. It's kind of weird because I almost always do that. But then with this, I look back and I'm like, wow, I needed a better microphone. Turns out the Cloud 2 headset just doesn't quite cut it. But besides that, things were actually pretty okay. So how did it go? I released the video. I posted it on Reddit, or I posted on YouTube first, obviously. And then I linked it onto Reddit to get some feedback. And the feedback ranged from this video is boring to this video is really bad. It was pretty almost entirely negative. A couple of people were like, wow, that's pretty cool. Some people were like, wow, you're really boring. And okay. It got about 300 to 400 views. And then from then on, it just started getting about 1 to 2 views per day. Basically, all the views that I originally got were from that original Reddit post, people coming in, clicking in, watching it. and then it just stopped getting views. So, I mean, if I basically gave up on YouTube content creation, I felt like I was pretty obviously out of touch. If I thought that my content was decent and it was so overwhelmingly disliked, I mean, I didn't know where else to go besides Reddit, so I thought that r/StarCraft would have something to say good about it. Nope. So I gave up on YouTube. And I was planning on making the Heart of the Swarm Deathless video or whatever, but really I just hadn't put the work in because I knew it was going to be way too much work for, if you're spending 50 hours for 300 views, that's, I mean, that's bad. So I was continuing to do Deathless runs on Twitch, going through Warcraft 3. I tried being a ladder streamer for a little bit. The meta at the time wasn't great and had a repetitive nature, so it was pretty grindy. Though I did have a really cool guy named Snockstar, who is a Zerg Grandmaster player, who was teaching me how to play Zerg, and that was quite enjoyable. I tried to get to Grandmaster on North America as Zerg in under a month, and I failed, but I did pretty decent, given that I hadn't played Zerg in years. I think I got, the reason it failed didn't matter. I got a little too focused on specific things, and I should have just learned my fundamentals a little bit better. But I got obsessed with the idea that I had to cheese my way there, but then I don't actually like cheesing. So then I forced myself into learning things that I didn't enjoy instead of just learning things. I think I could have done it if I was smarter about it. Wow, this is rambly. This is so rambly. Why are you still here? All right. So that basically is what happened. And then eventually my YouTube video just started blowing up because the YouTube algorithm was like, hey, this guy's video has 600 views in 2 months. I wonder what would happen if we trolled him and gave him 22,000 views the next day. I actually don't know if it was the next day. I think it was over 2 days. And then it was like 40,000 views after that. And then the next day was like 100,000. And then it was like 150. It was like flatline. And then people started coming into my stream. And then I started getting stream viewers. And then I started raising up in the Twitch rankings. And then the most beautiful thing of them all happened. The microphone that I had ordered many months prior actually arrived. So the thing to remember is that all of this was during peak COVID. So getting anything was really difficult. I actually had the microphone for quite a while, but the DAC didn't arrive. And I actually had to cancel the order. The DAC being a thing, it's an interface in between the computer and the microphone to take the audio signals and turn them into whatchamadingers. And it's one of the reasons that headset microphones sound like garbage is because they don't have one of those. So that microphone arrived, and I used that to record Heart of the Swarm Deathless. That's the reason that video took a while. And then people came in, and I started getting a lot more viewers. Heart of the Swarm Deathless seems to be the video that actually got a lot of people watching my stream. Because I think it was this guy's YouTube channel's not dead. Because everyone would come, they watched that video, The Wings of Liberty Deathless, and they were like, oh, this guy hasn't uploaded in months. And then I did upload, and they were like, oh my gosh, he has a pulse. And then people would go to my stream, because I advertised it. So I've been streaming ever since then, and I think it was in September maybe that I said, oh, I'm going to give full-time content creation a shot, and I'm going to go until December. We're going to see how it goes, or rather I said I'd go till the end of the year. We'll see how it goes, and adjust from there. So I stopped working on Ascendancy. The reason being is I had some art problems, and the game just doesn't look good. And I'm not an artist. I'm really not an artist, which means I have to pay artists to do all of that. And it's a lot. And I would like that game to be very successful in the future. And I actually think mechanically it's really fun. So I don't think it's like groundbreaking. I mean, it's something I made myself with no help. But I actually think that it is a viable game that could be pretty enjoyable as a turn-based strategy. But there was other stuff going on, basically. And I was like, man, I'm earning money on Twitch and YouTube. This is weird. I thought that I was supposed to not be earning money while I was making this game and then I'd make the money later, and now I'm making money now. I kind of like that. And this is actually fun. I mean, making a game is also fun, but it's very isolating and kind of boring, especially during peak COVID season where going out was not a thing, hanging out with your friends is not really a thing, any of that stuff. So this just worked out really nicely. And I'd always wanted to be a content creator. Back to like 2010, I'd wanted to be a content creator. And I never had the PC to be able to stream or render videos or anything like that, because I had a crappy laptop, then I had a very average PC. You know, that's just how it goes. So I finally had the means, the motive, and the opportunity, so I tried jumping on it. And how did it go? Good. I think that's just the answer, good. I actually had a set metric for growth and success that I kind of wanted to hit on average, that I thought was kind of bold, and it was like here, and we're going like here. Like this graph is higher up than this one. So, you know, if you know map, if you know map, that's geography. If you know math, then that's pretty freaking good. I'm very happy with the way things have been going. And I don't know why they've been so successful, honestly. So for the rest of us, we're basically going to break down everything. What are we doing? What have I been doing? What's been working? What hasn't been working? And what are we going to expect in 2021? Oh man, I'm tired. All right. I'm just going to break it down day by day. Wednesday, co-op and arcade with viewers. When I did a Discord poll earlier this year to figure out what things people liked and what they didn't like when I was figuring out what to do for the stream, people either loved or they hated co-op and arcade with viewers. There was basically no in between. I like doing it. I think it's a lot of fun to play with you guys, and the people that love it absolutely just adore it, right? I also never played StarCraft Arcade before I started streaming, so having access to this entirely new part of the game is a blast. And I think that the good halfway point was put it on Wednesdays. So when I put it on Wednesdays, it just, I don't know, it seems like a match made in heaven. We get to start the week off with a nice relaxing co-op and arcade thing. We get to mess around, have fun. It's not like hardcore soul-crushing challenges. And if it is, it's like brutal +6, so we all know that if we fail, whatever, it's brutal +6. It's dumb RNG. I find it fun. Wednesdays is supposed to be a throwaway day anyway. I think it works out great. So for Thursdays, playing other RTS games. On Thursdays, I am kind of up in the air with it right now, and that might just be that right now we're in the middle of playing Warcraft 3, and the game's missions are pretty darn repetitive. I don't think that I vetted the game poorly, but I definitely need to think about the campaigns of these games when I bring them on for Thursdays, because I like progression and variety. Those are the two types of things that really make me feel like I'm doing a good job as a streamer, is if I can continually progress forward with some setbacks to make sure that the content is challenging, but not like some absurd level of difficulty where I'm just grinding the same mission over and over, because that tends to be kind of boring. And then there's variety. So when you click in, you're like, oh, this isn't the same thing as last week. Obviously, it's the same game, but it's not build up a force and defeat this base, repeat ad nauseum. You got to put that little bit of spice on top of it. And Warcraft 2 is it's very samey in the missions, basically. I'm excited. People want me to play Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2 and Age of Mythology and stuff like that. And I think those will be really good stream games, because, I don't know, I think they'll be fun. I think they have good plots, good stories, are well made. I think that Thursday could be pretty good. I just have to make it through the insanity that is the inconsistent difficulty and grindiness of Warcraft 2. So on Fridays is speedrunning, and speedrunning is weird. I think there's good and bad parts of speedrunning. The exploratory part, where I can learn a run, is pretty fun, because we're all kind of in this learning things together, exploring the game in new ways that hasn't been seen by most people, because there aren't that many high-profile StarCraft speedrunners or anything. So then I think that exploratory phase is really enjoyable. And then the part where you go for the world records, like you're just like, okay, this might be the run, guys. We're going to be able to get it. And then we do or we don't. Either A, it's the heartbreak and it was tense the entire way through, or B, I do get it, which, I mean, I'm a big fan of that one. That part's really cool. But the middle part is very repetitive and grindy. When you're playing for fractions of a second, it can be a bit difficult because I'm not a dedicated speedrun streamer. That's not what people are coming for. And that brings me to the big problem with StarCraft speedrunning right now that I'm having. Bloody and ZPR are so stupidly good at Legacy of the Void and Wings of Liberty. They're like so stupidly good at those games. It frustrates me so much because I'm at the point where I can't just win those games. I can't just sit down and make a successful run happen that'll win the world record after practicing for a couple weeks on stream. They've each played those runs 100 plus times, and I would have to do the same if I want to be able to contest them. And that's not good content. That's not fun content. If I did if I say I had to do it 100 times to get the win, to get the world record on Wings of Liberty, and I was able to run twice on Fridays, that'd be almost a year of Friday being Wings of Liberty speedrun to make it happen. That's not viable. And then there's two other runs, obviously. There is Heart of the Swarm, and there's Nova Covert Ops. Unfortunately, I have those world records, so running them, why? I mean, I need to find reasons to run them when I do them. For example, preparing for the all campaigns run, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a difficult position on what I'm doing on Fridays right now. I poked my head into StarCraft 1 speedrunning a bit, but it's become very obvious very quickly that I need to drastically increase my skill as a StarCraft 1 player before I can nab a world record there. I don't have the mechanical familiarity with the game in order to do that. So I just don't know what to do with Fridays, because I think speedrunning is really cool. I think speedrunning is really fun. People like speedrunning a lot, and I don't know what to do, which is a very odd problem to have. On Saturdays, community challenge runs are cool. Originally, they were fun. They were a lot of fun. And then things got a bit out of hand for a while because we kept going to, we kept taking it to 11. And then I would be doing something that's like an 11 in difficulty out of 10. And then you guys would throw an 11 out of 10 difficulty challenge at me as well. And, it becomes like absurd. But we eventually ironed out the details and all that kind of stuff. And I think that, I don't know, I really like challenge runs. And I think a lot of people like challenge runs. It gives people that authority and input, the ability, anybody that comes up with a challenge can be the one that comes up with a challenge, right? And that's really cool. You think of one thing for a mission, 10 missions down the line in a campaign, and then you can just write it down, and if it's good, it'll get picked. I think that's very empowering. And I love crowdsourcing good ideas. And I love having to do weird stuff because we get to explore the weird parts of games. Like when we trapped, what is his name, Mar? The hybrid that in the Wings of Liberty Protoss missions, we trapped Mar in the thing when I was forced to go Archon probe, and the entire reason that he got trapped there was because of the absurd circumstance of the army that I had at the time and all that kind of stuff. And we learn about these weird things that are going on in the game. I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun. And I don't know what to do after we beat Wings of Liberty Zerg Edition. There's not more campaign. So that's not good. We're going to have to figure that out because I like doing it and I think people like watching it. And it's not repeatable, right? I mean, if I were to finish Wings of Liberty Zerg Edition and say, all right, we're going back to, what was the first one that I ever did? I think I started with Legacy of the Void Challenge Run. We're going back to Legacy of the Void Community Challenge Run. How many people would be like, yeah? I feel like a lot of people would be like, okay, what? We already did that. I don't know. We're going to have to think on that. I would appreciate ideas for it. So Sundays. Sundays is currently a flexible day. Sometimes it's nice because if I have an idea, I can just throw it into Sunday and we can give it a go. And other weeks, I have no idea and I'm constantly racking my brain of what are we doing on Sunday? I don't know what's happening on Sunday and it is currently Saturday night and I need to figure it out. And that can be really annoying and anxiety inducing. But at the same time, like this week, I was like, can you beat Heart of the Swarm with only Zerglings? Can you? I don't know. Let's figure it out. That's what we're going to do on Sunday. Spoilers, by the way. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to make Zerglings. No Kerrigan, no nothing, just Zerglings. We'll figure it out. And I think that's neat. It's fun. And then on Monday. Monday has been the day that has just gone up the most. Like, it was, I don't even remember what we used to be doing on Monday, honestly. I think we were doing like co-op and arcade. We would like start the week and end the week with that or something. I can't even recall. But then I started playing co-op with Jay Brino and Synergy, and it has been so much fun. I really, really like it. I feel kind of bad that it's on a weekday. I wish it was on a weekend because more people are free then, and it seems that people really, really love this, but you got to work with everyone else's thing, right? When you get 3 players, and it seems like people are able to make it. Everyone involved is enjoying it. It's absolutely been killing it. Yeah, Mondays have been good. And then this isn't really a stream thing that I do on a day of the week, so I just kind of wrote this independently. But the events. I do kind of big events every once in a while, right? I would say like once every month and a half or something, I've been doing some big old thing. Like the triple campaign stream, or getting the speedrun world records, or the 24-hour streams, those types of things. They're not normal. They're events where my viewership is way higher than normal, and I'm going for a long time. I really like those. They're a lot of fun. They're limited mostly by my ability to come up with ideas, though. But I don't know, it's like a party, I wouldn't want to do it every day. But every once in a while, I think it's pretty fun. So now let's talk about the things that don't work or didn't work. This is probably pretty obvious at this point, but I spend a lot of time trying to have a good amount of variety on my stream. And I do end up getting, I guess this isn't about what doesn't work, but whatever. I do end up getting a decent amount of anxiety about keeping content fresh and interesting. This is good and bad. I think that being willing and just wanting to try out new and fresh stuff all the time, I think is very powerful. And being willing to fail, being willing to say, oh, this is an idea we had and it didn't work. I think that's very powerful and good for long-term growth. But it does also give me a baseline level of stress just about streaming, just the constant, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? I need another idea. I need another idea. It's almost as if I am a stream of gimmicks, even though I don't feel like I'm a gimmicky streamer, but the more that I stream this way, the more I understand why the majority of streamers just grind ladder over and over. It's reliable. It's consistent. It's always there. It'll never run out. And I tend to convince myself that people are bored of watching stuff when in reality they might not be bored with it. And everybody is different. So people get bored at stuff of a different rate. And I just need to be mindful of that in the future. I have to be mindful of when people are getting bored, but I also have to not be changing things up all the time, because things that people were enjoying will just be gone before they're bored of it, which is really bad. This is a really difficult balance, and I guess I'm just going to work on it. So, what didn't work out that I tried? Pro match commentary. That was the first one. So, as I said, I started my YouTube stuff with the pro match commentary. 2020 is not the year to get into any sort of StarCraft 2 professional commentary. I don't think it was my fault. I think that, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a great commentator. I'm not, because I don't have much experience with it. I think I could be fine if I did put the time and effort into it. But after watching what happened with Creighton Olsen and Other Grant, I don't know what to call him other than Other Grant, because he was Grant SC2 and I'm Giant Grant Games. After watching both of them pour their heart and souls into this and getting no reward whatsoever, I was like, wow, I'm really glad that I turned away from that angle. And I feel really bad for them. The StarCraft 2 professional commentary scene is very, very talented, very robust. There is a lot of very passionate people there. And breaking into that as a newbie, when, especially now that Blizzard has made the announcement that they don't give a crap about StarCraft anymore, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that tournaments are just going to take it nice and easy from now on. They're going to be very conservative with who they bring in as analytic commentary, as hype commentary, all that kind of stuff. They're going to take the people they have a decade of experience working with, and that's completely reasonable. But it does mean that that aspect of what I was doing is a failure. That is kind of annoying because I wanted to run that King of the Hill series previously, and oh my god, this has been on for over half an hour. Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. I wanted to run that King of the Hill series, and I don't think that it's worth it. Which is a shame, because Ryan put so much effort into those mods. And I really wanted to get that stuff going, but we had got all that together before Blizzard had basically told us all to sod off, you know? And it's difficult. That whole thing is really just a shame. I ended up putting all my YouTube past shoutcasts on private, by the way, and this is not because I'm like trying to hide the fact that I started out that way. That was my initial commentary or my initial content, and I'm so scared of it, and I don't want it to get out that I used to do that. I'm embarrassed. No, the reason that I put it on there is because YouTube kept auto-suggesting it to people instead of my good videos, and I wanted them to auto-suggest my good videos instead, so I had to tweak it that way. So what was another thing that didn't work out? Laddering. I have a problem in StarCraft 2 where I really don't like smurfing. I don't like it when I'm playing against a lower ranked person and I'm styling on them and just crushing them. I don't find that fun. The problem with that, it means I don't get to do meme builds on ladder because I am not a good enough player that I can crush high master / grandmaster players on ladder with meme builds, because that's kind of like my skill area when I'm actually sitting down and practicing hard. So I don't know how I would make an entertaining ladder stream. Also, it's really hard to be a ladder player that is inconsistent. Like, I haven't played ladder in quite a while, and if I were to sit down and play one day of ladder, it would suck. It would be so bad. So I don't know how I would ever mix that in with my current content. I understand why people do it full time, though. It seems real nice and relaxing. So for 2021, I have 3 major concerns about StarCraft content creation, both my own and in general. The first one is Blizzard completely dropping StarCraft 2 and their lack of desire to balance the game is going to slowly bleed off the player base without bringing in new players and viewers. This means that as much as I love StarCraft, it's not a long-term strategy for content creation. The problem here is there's not really another game that I'm super interested in going into. I like StarCraft, and you guys like StarCraft. So, why is my face? Oh. Sorry, the nightlight thing, the blue light filter went away and it turned me into a very orange person. Now I'm a very white person because I have 2 white things, whatever. I don't care what my face looks like. I'm not going to look realistic either way. So, that's really the problem right now. Is I think that the player base and viewer base of StarCraft is going to at best stay stagnant and at worst go down. I think the new players coming into the scene are few and far between. People will leave at a natural rate and eventually it'll start dwindling. I think that I don't know if things will snowball or if it'll be a slow decline. I think it's impossible to know at this point. And that's really scary as someone who's trying to get to a point where they're making, well, I am making a living off of content creation now. I guess I can say that. But who wants to continue that? That's really scary. I genuinely believe that Frost Giant will eventually make a really great game. But I think there's going to be an interim where StarCraft content creation is not sustainable and Frost Giant's game is not out yet. And in an ideal world, I'd find something cool to do in between. And then when Frost Giant releases their product, I'll go like 110%. I'll put in the hours in. I'll become one of the premier content creators for the hottest new RTS in the scene. That's like the dream, right? That's the thing you sit down when you're going to bed at night and you're coming up with, oh, how is this going to be super sweet? That's the thing you think of. But that relies on a lot of people that are not me doing the right thing, making a really good game. And that's not a really good assumption to make. It's not responsible as a content creator. So I need to figure out what I'm doing in between them. And I just don't see any good options. Another thing is that this is fairly recently, and I don't know if this is just a glitch with what is going on or if it is just a update to the algorithm. But people like Hearthstone and Loco were talking about, and once I started talking about it, I checked my numbers and it's true. RTS games right now, for some reason, YouTube just is not recommending them. There was a very abrupt decrease in the amount that YouTube is recommending RTS content to viewers. And I think this happened kind of near the same time that the announcement happened. I don't know if it is because YouTube is now kind of there. I feel, I know nothing about AI, right? I don't know about the YouTube analytics AI that is going through and doing things. But we kind of live in an environment now where games are, they come up, they get really popular for a couple months, and then they're thrown by the wayside. And I think that's the way that the YouTube algorithm is adapted to deal with games now. As soon as it thinks a game is declining, it completely drops it because it knows that that is what the demand is like. So I actually think that if this assumption of mine is correct, then the announcement of Blizzard saying that they're dropping StarCraft 2 is actually going to be really damaging, or has been really damaging to YouTube viewership because it has impacted the way that the algorithm is suggesting content to viewers. But that's really bad. That's like really, really bad for a lot of content creators, not just me. I think that's a lot worse for some other content creators too, because I can more easily spread out, I guess. I'm doing like Warcraft stuff a little bit now, and I think speedrunning as a search term still is up and up, so I'm not as negatively impacted. It's just something to keep in mind that for some reason the YouTube algorithm doesn't like StarCraft right now. And that's not good. And then the third concern I have is that YouTube favors daily I don't want to swear. They favor daily lower quality content than I make. My videos are really hard to make and they're less frequent as a result. And YouTube would like it if I were uploading, 3 to 7 times a week. And I can't do that. So I'm kind of going to try to take a middle ground. And my videos are going to be more like 12 to 17 minutes long. But I'm going to try to get 2 to 3 videos out per month. Hopefully that'll help the whole YouTube thing. So as I said, I actually grew faster than expected. All this stuff is Twitch and YouTube and donations and everything together. Patreon has helped out a ton. All these things are actually doing very nicely. And if I can find a sponsor for my content, for example, I think that would bring me to the next level and truly make me a legit content creator because I don't know, I just want a sponsor. Wouldn't you like to be brought by Braid, Skillshare, Brilliant Legends? Yeah. So what are my plans for 2020? I split the content I create into 3 categories mentally. I split them into YouTube videos, streams, and special events. For Twitch, you can expect me to continue streaming 6 days per week, between 3.5 to 4 hours per day. What happens on those individual days might change with the ebb and flow of the world, but I think I'm going to be pretty consistent there. YouTube is where I've been slacking the most in 2020. My goal is to push out 3 YouTube videos per month. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to release a video that is normal. Like, when you think of Giant Crank Games YouTube channel, it's going to be 2 of those videos it's going to be 2 of those videos per month, 1 every 2 weeks. And then at some point during the month, I'm going to release a 3rd video that is more varied and experimental. Whenever I have I'm going to make a video about this. Why not? Then I'm just going to do it. So, for example, right now, I am working on a video called, Is the Halo Master Chief Collection worth it for people that don't play shooters? I'm a person that doesn't really play shooters. I played through the entire Master Chief Collection. I'm going to go answer the question, look through it, see if I can make a good video about it. I don't know. We'll see how it works. I'm just going to kind of fish around, and worst comes to worst, all it does is improve my ability as a video editor and makes it feel like I'm not leaving stuff by the wayside. We're almost done. And finally is events. I classify events as things that get higher than normal viewership or are treats for the stream. So they're generally the one-off things that won't be repeated, like the triple stream at once, or, I don't know, StarCraft Jeopardy is coming up, the 24-hour streams obviously being the ultimate example of that. And I like doing these. I think they're a lot of fun. I would like to run a smaller event once per month, and then big events, maybe like, on the level of the 3 campaigns at once or 24-hour streams or getting world records and speed runs. I'd like to run those maybe 3 to 4 times per year. And that's kind of the idea, is that every week I have a thing. And then I'm also a streamer. So for 3 of the weeks in a month, I would have a video coming out. And then the last one, I would have like some, we're doing StarCraft Jeopardy, or we're doing, I don't know, all the speed run in together, or, I don't know. I'd have to come up with more ideas. That's the big thing, is I need ideas for cool events. Because like the 3 campaigns at once, that was not my idea. I think that was Billy Bob's idea, and it was awesome. It worked out great. Wow, this has been a long and rambling video. I'm so sorry. If you've made it here, especially if you haven't paused, you deserve a gold star. If you have paused, you get a silver star. You can turn them in for gummy bears with the teacher. So I think 2021 is going to be a weird year. I think there's a lot of uncertainty both in YouTube and StarCraft particularly, because it's a decade-old game at this point, and no one truly knows what the ramifications of Blizzard being Blizzard is, and YouTube being YouTube. But I say that in like it's a bad way, but it's actually, I'm just kind of tired, so I think things sound more dramatic. I don't know. I have a little bit of uneasiness, but I've also really had a great time, and I really like streaming. I really like making videos. I really like hanging out with all of you guys. And I think the best way that I can say thanks for being so awesome is to put 110% into the content that I create. So that's really the plan in 2021, is I'm going to go do that. Thanks for listening. Peace.